Now, before you kind of get all technical with me about the definite article in the Greek for the, maybe it could mean a, Jesus then also says, hey, I am the gate. Whoever enters through me will be saved. He talks about pictures of sheep, and they come in through a gate, and they have grass, and it's life, and life to the full. We can't mistake what Jesus is saying. We might say, yeah, but you can get life elsewhere. The grass isn't always greener. And Jesus says again, I am the light of the world. Whoever follows me will not walk in darkness, but he will have the light of life. Okay, I see what you're doing, Jesus. But it's not always black and white, is it? There's a lot of twilight, a lot of gray zone. Jesus says, John 10, I am the Son of God. No wonder people, when they heard him, thought he was out of his mind. They thought, well, he must be an eccentric prophet. Or they wanted to kill him, and they wanted to stone him. Because the statements that Jesus is making are so audacious, but they're also personal. Jesus doesn't just say, I claim to know the way, or I have the truth, or I point to life. Jesus says, I am truth. I am the life. I am the way. And therefore, truth isn't just about information. It's about relationship. This makes some of the stuff that Jesus is saying so much more interesting, because he's saying, hey, you want to know truth? Who am I really? Well, then you need to know me personally. You need to know me personally. So how do we do this? How do we then arrive at a real version of Jesus? Well, I don't want to say, how do you get to know anybody? In relationship, in friendship, how do you get to know anybody? You spend time with them. You talk to them. You talk to people who know them. You hang out in community with that person. You ask them questions. You listen to their response. Maybe you read some things about them, their manifesto or their biography or their Facebook posts. You get to know the person. Really personally at the moment, my daughter, who I'm dedicating this morning, is 10 months old. How do we get to know Jesus and pursue a friendship with him, the real him, when you're sleep deprived, you've got screaming babies, you've got never-ending washing, they're up before you do? How do you get to know Jesus when it's really hard to pick up the Bible and make time to kind of say, yes, I'm going to get to know you, I'm going to read this stuff? What about if you don't read? What happens if you don't like reading and you think, I just don't understand how to get into the Bible? How do I get to know Jesus? About 13 years ago, I was in a really rural community in Central Africa. And I met some incredible followers of Jesus there who had only recently had a Bible translated into their local language. Some of them couldn't read it. And yet they had a greater personal revelation of who Jesus really was than many of the academics and professors that I have sat under at some of the world's top universities. They would sing songs about the truth of who Jesus was. They would pray and talk to him. They would see him at work in their lives. They would listen to the community's testimonies of all that Jesus had been doing. They had a great personal revelation of who Jesus Christ was. Getting to know Jesus isn't an intellectual activity. It's a friendship, it's a relationship. And because of that, Jesus understands your situation. He's got grace for it. Oh, yeah, I know you've had a hard week, haven't you? Well, I'm so glad that you're talking to me now. Oh, my goodness, he's so gracious to us. Friendship, relationship with God is not a tick list. It's not a performance-driven, performance-based review. It's saying, no, I love hanging out with you. We get to do it. And so I want to encourage you, how do you get to know the real Jesus? You come in community. You're with people who know Jesus. You share your life. What is Jesus saying to you? Where's he challenging you? Where are you at? You try and you listen, on your car into work. Try listening to the Bible, audiobooks. Listen to preach. Sing songs that declare the truth of who Jesus is. Thank you, Byron, for leading this morning's worship. We declare who Jesus is. I reorient my heart about who you really are. In Matthew 16, then, when Jesus says to Peter, who do you say I am? Peter gets it right. And then I love how Jesus twists it. He then says, okay, you know who I am, and now I'm going to tell you who you are. Because there's something about friendship with Jesus that is two-way. When we know who he is, he tells us who we are. He shapes us. We become like the person that we hang out with. What we believe about Jesus, about God, really matters because it shapes the way that we are towards ourselves. For example, if you are a follower of God, but you believe that Jesus is a bit punitive, he's critical, you can never quite get it right, then what's that going to generate in you? Perfectionism, performance-based religion. But if I'm always trying to do the right thing, then, I'll be approved of. Who do you say that I am? If we believe that Jesus came for a broken world, to love the people that society rejected, to love the people that could never quite get it right, to transform us, then the way that we are towards ourselves is going to be radically different. We're going to treat ourselves with grace and kindness and compassion. We're not going to hide away in shame in the shadows, never quite getting it right. We're going to extend that to the world around us, full of grace and patience, because my goodness, is he patient towards us. Jesus says to you this morning, who do you say I am? Who do you say I am? What version of Jesus do you have in your mind? Do you know him personally? And before we go into a time of worship again, I just want to invite all of us. The Gospel of John has this repeated line, come and see, come and see. And that invite still stands. Come and see who Jesus is. Be a follower of Jesus. Come and see, come and see. Who do you say he is? And so there's something in this for all of us. Maybe we've been a follower for a long time, but we realize, you know what, there's something about my relationship with Jesus that's just not based in reality. I can't find scriptural justification for the way that I think that Jesus is. And so today, maybe it's about reorienting your heart towards the greater reality of who Jesus is. Maybe you've never done that. Maybe you've said, you know what, I've never followed Jesus. But today, I want to look into this. I want to look at who Jesus says that he is, not based on my family or culture or friends or podcasts, but I'm going to listen to Jesus and I'm going to investigate that. And if that is you, for the first time or by way of saying, yes, I'm going to do this again today, I'm going to lead us in a prayer that we're all going to pray. And then afterwards, if you have done that first time or by way of recommitting yourself, I'd love it if you put your hand in the air. And we're going to give you a Bible. We're going to resource you to do this. We'd love to get you into community, do conversation with you. Even if you have 100 Bibles at home, this is a way of marking the moment and saying, yes, Jesus, I want to get to know you. Would you all stand with me? We're all going to respond. Would you say after me, Jesus, I thank you for your life. I thank you for your offer of friendship. I don't know everything, but I want to know you more and more. Today I choose to follow you, to pursue your claims, to pursue personal friendship with you, Jesus. Forgive me for the stuff that gets in the way of the real person you are. Help me, Jesus, know you. Amen.
If you enjoyed this video today, why don't you click subscribe and click on that notification bell to get a notification the next time we upload a video. And if you're new or you've been coming to the C3 Church for a little while now, why don't you find out what your next step might be in the journey of faith? Click on the next step link in the description below to find out what your next step in your journey might be.